Will Smith's dark secrets exposed? The Diddy connection that's shaking Hollywood? Let's set the scene, shall we? The beloved, fresh-faced Prince of Bel-Air, the guy we grew up watching on our screens, the Hollywood family man who built his reputation on clean laughs and blockbuster charm, Will Smith is now neck-deep in a tsunami of scandal. But we're not talking about tabloid fluff or late-night show punchlines. Oh no, this is messier, darker, and coming from places no PR team can scrub clean. This time, Will's name is being dragged straight into Diddy's chaotic web, and the internet, it's losing its damn mind. We're not talking studio deals or music collabs here. These are allegations so wild, so twisted, they sound like they were pulled from a deleted scene of a dark Netflix thriller. Secret parties, surveillance tapes, whispered names behind velvet curtains, and smack dab in the center, Diddy and Will. Diddy already drowning in allegations of manipulation, blackmail, and those now infamous freak-off parties, is facing a full-blown takedown. But now, like a grenade rolling across the carpet, Will Smith's name has landed squarely in the blast radius. At first, fans screamed, "No way!" But as more and more pieces began locking together, that disbelief turned to stunned silence. Something wasn't right.
Willow's just she's dope. Too much shit happened in that fucking house. And meanwhile, I go to jail for defending my child, and these niggas don't even get a CPS fucking visit for the kind of shit they kids see.
Now, let's talk Jaguar Wright, the unfiltered, unafraid whistleblower of what she calls the dark underbelly of Black Hollywood. She's been naming names for years, and the world dismissed her as just another wild storyteller. But now, her stories are aging like fine wine, and not in a good way. She didn't just randomly name Will and Jada. She painted a disturbing picture, a marriage with bizarre dynamics, a pattern of mentoring young men that reportedly ended in chaos, and yes, a secret gay club connected to Will Smith. Sound like a conspiracy? Maybe. But the problem is, more voices are backing her up. Enter Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard. This man didn't stutter. He outright said Diddy has surveillance footage of everything. We're talking bedrooms, guests, everything. And allegedly, Will Smith was one of the people caught on tape.
Count like 250 cameras or something like that?
Him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians.
Don, another source close to Diddy, confirmed what fans feared most. Those recordings Diddy kept as his twisted form of insurance might include Will Smith. And the moment that dropped, the internet exploded. Suddenly, an old name started trending again. Sheree Zampino, Will's first wife. Years ago, she tried to shut down rumors that their marriage ended because she walked in on Will with another man. She said they were just young. But baby, that denial has aged like sour milk, because now those whispers have turned into roars. And then came the bombshell from Ball, Will's former assistant of over 40 years. Ball came forward in a 2023 interview saying he had personally witnessed Will in a compromising situation with actor Dwayne Martin. Not a rumor, not hearsay. He claimed he saw it. That confession hit like a truck. Some people called Ball a traitor, but others, they said he must have seen something so disturbing, so real, that he couldn't stay silent anymore. But he wasn't alone. Keith D., another Hollywood insider, told a story so creepy it could have been in a horror movie. He said he once found himself at one of Diddy's infamous parties and realized he was in the middle of what he called a gay Illuminati ritual. His words, not ours. He didn't know what was happening until it got weird, and guess who was there? Will? Jada. Big names, big vibes, and they weren't good. Add that to Jaguar Wright screaming from the rooftops, Bal backing her with what he saw, Keith D's freaky party experience, and Gene Deal's confirmation that cameras were rolling, and suddenly the Will and Diddy connection doesn't sound like gossip anymore. It sounds like the industry's worst kept secret. And while the internet connected dots, what did the Smiths do? Nothing. No press statement, no denial, no lawsuit, just radio silence. But Jaguar Wright? She didn't stop. She went harder. She said Will and Jada weren't just mentoring young men, they were allegedly grooming them. That these young talents came into the Smiths' inner circle hoping for guidance and instead were left emotionally wrecked, with some leaving in tears and others staying out of fear or dependency.
They're both bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house fucking screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
Names started flying. August Alsina mentioned again and again, not just for the infamous entanglement, but as one of the more tame examples. Jaguar said he wasn't even the worst case. Then came names like Meek Mill and Bushy Gray. No direct accusations, but their connections to the Smiths made people raise eyebrows. People started pulling up old interviews, weird clips, and disappeared appearances. Suddenly, everything felt off. Reddit threads went nuclear. YouTube explainer videos broke down the drama frame by frame like it was a court case. The conclusion? Will and Diddy weren't just part of the same crowd. They were possibly part of the same operation. Not a crime ring per se, but a network. A private world of favors, secrets, and non-disclosure agreements where silence was protection and scandal was currency. And the stories were starting to mirror each other. The surveillance, the NDAs, the parties, the camera angles, the setups, all the things that haunted Diddy's case were suddenly sticking to Will Smith. Then Gene Deal stirred the pot again. He told a story about Diddy saying something cryptic about Will and Jada trying to recruit Jennifer Lopez. Was it jealousy, drama, a twisted love triangle? No one knows. But the tone was serious. Gene had that "I've seen some stuff" look in his eyes, and no one was laughing. And if you thought that was the last shoe to drop, think again. People started revisiting Ball's 2023 interview on Tasha K's platform, where he gave a play-by-play of the Will Dwayne Martin incident. Not a vague rumor, not innuendo, a step-by-step breakdown. People gasped. Viewers were shocked. And the only thing more stunning than what Ball said, Dwayne Martin's reaction, he said nothing. No statement, no denial, no outrage, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. People began to wonder, if it's all false, why not sue? Why let this spiral? Then came the whispers of federal raids. Rumors swirled that agents had seized Diddy's hard drives. Some said they contained footage, and not the kind that belongs on social media, the kind that gets people arrested. And once again, one of the names allegedly on those drives, Will Smith. It felt like a hoax, a lie, until a supposed leaked screenshot surfaced. No context, no audio, but a still image that allegedly showed Will and Diddy in the same dimly lit room. It was pulled down almost instantly, but not before it went viral on encrypted channels and Telegram groups. Now, it wasn't just about Diddy going down, it was about who he might take with him. Will Smith's image, the family man, the Hollywood royalty, the inspiration, was starting to crack. And the internet? It wanted blood. As the story spiraled, more voices joined in, and suddenly it wasn't just an internet frenzy, it was a movement. Whistleblowers, former bodyguards, longtime assistants, anonymous sources with burner accounts, everyone was talking. And all roads were leading to the same mansion parties, the same names, and the same haunting silence from Will and Jada Smith. Then came Tasha K's biggest tease yet. After Ball's interview exploded across social media, she hinted there were more bombshells on the way. She claimed other insiders had already contacted her, ready to spill tea they'd been forced to hold for years because of NDAs, intimidation, or fear. She straight up said, Hollywood's going through a reset, and once this lid's blown off, nothing will be the same. And guess what? People believed her because the pattern was too obvious. This wasn't about random accusations anymore. It was about a system, a protected circle where power meant protection and silence was the price of entry. And then, cue the chills, came the whispers of Diddy's vaults. Not metaphorical. We're talking actual rooms reportedly hidden deep within his homes, rooms filled with digital backups of everything, footage, photos, documents, all of it. Blackmail, leverage, insurance, whatever you called it, the feds were very interested. When authorities began seizing tech from Diddy's properties, everyone in the industry got spooked. Some celebs went completely dark. Others wiped years of photos. People ghosted entire timelines. Lawyers started getting calls, lots of them. But in the middle of this wildfire, Will and Jada, still no statement, no interview, no PR control, just eerie silence. Yet behind that silence, legal gears were reportedly grinding. Leaked court documents, blurred names, but suspiciously timed suggested that several major Hollywood names were under quiet federal investigation. Anonymous insiders whispered that sealed subpoenas were already out and that Will and Jada's names were being whispered in real courtrooms, not just on Reddit. And just when things couldn't get weirder, the internet resurrected Tupac. An old clip resurfaced. Not one of his diss tracks, not a performance, but a rare, quiet moment where he talked about Hollywood's secrets. He warned about artists being protected. No matter what they did behind closed doors, fans instantly made the connection to Jada, to Will, to all of it. The idea that Tupac might have known more than he let on, that maybe his cryptic messages were less about the system and more about specific people, yay, that broke the internet. Suddenly, every old interview became a clue. Every red carpet look, every weird paparazzi moment, every smirk or subtle answer in old press junkets, now seen as smoke signals. Something was off, and fans were finally seeing it. Then came a gut punch from Cassie, Diddy's ex, and a woman who'd already filed suit against him. She released a new statement, and while she never named names, the implications were undeniable. She said she'd been pressured by unnamed elites. She spoke of being forced into situations watched, recorded, and silenced. She never said Will Smith, but the overlap was too loud to ignore. The internet instantly pieced it together. Freak-off parties, surveillance setups, celebrity handlers, young talents lured under the promise of opportunity. It sounded exactly like the playbook being whispered about the Smiths. At this point, nobody cared about a court verdict anymore. The court of public opinion had already ruled, and that verdict? Guilty. Guilty of secrets, guilty of hiding behind a curated image, guilty of being part of something much uglier than anyone wanted to believe. And the illusion of clean celebrities? It was gone. Demolished. People didn't want to believe Will could be involved. They loved him. He was goofy, charming, heartfelt, the guy who slapped Chris Rock in a moment of raw, chaotic emotion and somehow still had fans. But now, he wasn't just part of the drama, he was a major player. And worse, he might have been protected for years by the very system now collapsing around him. And the biggest question wasn't, did he do it? It was, who's next? Because the leaks were still coming. The whispers hadn't stopped. The screenshots kept appearing in shady corners of the internet. New insiders were already getting ready to talk, some rumored to be even bigger than Barr. And with the feds digging into Diddy's archive of horror, the fear in Hollywood was real. Every day that Will and Jada stayed silent, that fear grew louder. Because the next leak could be their faces, could be their names on a federal docket, could be the end of the fairy tale. Final word, this isn't just some online scandal anymore. This is the Hollywood unraveling we never saw coming. A-list reputations are being burned to the ground. NDAs are cracking. Victims are speaking. Hidden tapes may surface. And the world is watching, not with pity, but with popcorn. Because Will Smith, the man who once ruled summer blockbusters, is now the center of a real-life drama too big for any script. And baby, we're only in Act 1. Only in Act 1.